Okay, it's Monday the 9th. We are going to add and subtract complex numbers. So remember we talked about imaginary numbers yesterday. Imaginary numbers come from this. That's what an imaginary number is. So when you see this, this is an imaginary number, 4 times I. Remember we said negative 16. The square root of negative 16 would be 4i. The square root of negative 25 would be 5i. That kind of stuff. Well, that's what imaginary numbers are. So a complex number always looks like this. It has a real part and an imaginary part. So every number in the whole wide world is complex, because if we count how many people are in our class, well, there's 28 real people and 0 imaginary people, unless you brought your imaginary friend today. But usually it's just 28 real and 0 imaginary. And if we solved like this problem right here, the square root of negative 25, that is totally imaginary, so that would be 0 real and 5 imaginary, right? And that would be what that is. So it's possible to have a totally real number with no imaginary parts. It's also possible to have a totally imaginary number with no real parts. But the ones we're going to work with are the ones that have a real part and an imaginary part. So, like this. 4 plus, there we go, 3i. And let's say 7 plus 11i. Okay? So, what can we do with imaginary numbers and complex numbers? We can do everything that we normally do with any number. So we can add them, and we can subtract them, and we can multiply them, and we can divide them. So we're going to learn how to do that. Today is just going to be add and subtract. So if I do 4 plus 3i and then 7 plus 11i, I can only add the real parts together. So 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, this would be 11 real numbers. And then 11, 9, 11, 12, 14, plus 14i. This would be the answer when I add these values together. Right? So when you subtract them, it's the same kind of deal. 5 plus 7i, and then subtract, I don't know, why not 11 plus 3i. Well, 5 minus 11, that would be negative 6. 7 minus 3, that would be 4i, and that would be the answer. Right? So, as long as you add all the real parts together and all the imaginary parts together, there's nothing tricky about this. So how about we do 5 plus 3i, that'll be one of them. And 7 plus 7i, that'll be one of them. And we'll do plus on that guy. And then we'll do minus on this guy. Oh, what could it be? 2 minus 4i. Let's do it. All right. So we're adding all the real numbers together. 7 plus 5 is 12, minus 2 is 10. So the real number part is 10. And then 7i plus 3, that's 10i, minus 4. Right? Minus means plus. Usually I would say change this to be a minus and that to be a plus before we do anything, so we don't make any mistakes. This guy, anytime you have a minus sign in front of parentheses, distribute that minus sign, and then it goes away. So what do we say? 10i plus 4, that would be 14i. Right? So the only time there's anything tricky going on is if you have negative numbers. So 9 minus 8, subtracting a negative number. Minus 7 minus a 6. right? So here I have 9, and then I'm going to change the sign to be negative positive, and then I know what I'm doing, no problem, right? 9 plus negative 7 is 9 minus 7, that'd be 2. And then negative 8 plus 6, that would be negative 2. Right? So that would be the answer to that. Just be careful, and you will be okay. I believe now you're ready to do today's homework from the book. Bye.